Welcome to Small Talk with Raincraft. I'm Subha, a leadership and executive coach.
And I'm Hasita. I'm a marketing strategist.
We're just two people who love to talk
and love to learn.
And this is us being curious about the world around us.
Join us.
Welcome, Small Talkers. Today, I'm happy to have Meeta Sharma Gupta, the founder of Shumee Toys. Shumee is a 7-year-old toy brand that brings sustainable toys to children all across the world, handcrafted by artisans across India. Shumee toys are handmade, child-friendly, child-safe, and truly sustainable, and believe in the philosophy of completely open-ended play, where play is 90% the child and just 10% toy. Before venturing out as an entrepreneur, Meeta was a researcher with IBM TJ Watson. After her PhD from Harvard and her engineering from IIT Delhi, I have seen firsthand how Meeta builds Shumee on a daily basis with a lot of love and care. So please do listen in. There's so much to learn from her. Hi Meeta, welcome to Small Talk with Raincraft. So happy to have you here.
Hi Shubha, good to be here. Thanks for having me here.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I think I've been a fan of Shumee from day one, right? Since we met, and I've watched it grow into something so wonderfully big, I must say. How do you feel if you think about, okay, from where you started to where you are today, what's the first thought that comes to mind?
So I think I feel very grateful, Shubha. So I feel grateful for the journey that I have had so far, because when I started, to be really honest, I did not know how to get where we are right now, but I knew that what I wanted Shumee to be. I wanted Shumee to be a brand which stands for play and everything good for the little ones in the early years. And what the scale is going to be, how we are going to get there was not something which I had any clue about. But so I'm really grateful to be where we are. Grateful for all the love that we have got through the journey from our customers, the vendors that we partner with, from my team also, from everyone that we have associated with. I think that's what has made this journey very special for me. So it's been good.
Lovely. I think the reason or why Shumee came into existence is pretty clear and compelling, right? It is something that egged you on from day one. But as someone who came from such a technical research background at IBM, and you've worked in a very different environment, did you plan for this plunge? How did you handle this sudden shift in the kind of work that you're doing?
So it was a big shift for me, Shubha, but it was a very unplanned, because it was something which I knew that I wanted to do. Like I said, I did not know how to do it, but I took it as another challenge that, okay, this is something which can be done. It didn't look to me something which cannot be done at all. I knew there are things in the ecosystems which exist, or I would be. For me, it was that if I know what I want, I will eventually slowly get there. And the journey will also take different courses, because having done that at different points before, in my life, I knew that things cannot always be planned. So this was one thing in my life which I went totally unplanned without any. But I think I've learned a lot in this whole process. Something I would say, I just but just kept learning. I think I'm still learning. There are many things which unfolded for me, which I did not know about, or which I did not know that will be things that I need to take care of or worry. But slowly, even with the smallest things, like I was having a conversation with someone today for exports. So we do export, but also when we started export, we said, okay, we are exporting, but what all regularization come into play, etc., was not something which I even thought exists or we need to find out. We started doing it. We hit roadblocks, we solve for it, and I think we are in a better shape doing that. So that has been the journey so far with Shumee, that we just keep going.
No, yeah, I've seen you do that. I've seen you kind of really try and jump into new things for Shumee. And yes, it's been a process, right? Just figuring it out. And I think the mindset of you'll find somebody who can help you and you'll find a way to solve it. What have you really had to unlearn over these past 6-7 years now?
Yeah, 7 years now, 7 very active years. So I think that I have to unlearn is to live with uncertainty to some extent, like a lot of uncertainty. Everything cannot be certain because, prior to Shumee, I had done things in life where there was always a chartered road for it to some extent, or there was a lot of direction from everywhere. Processes were put together because those were very well-defined processes. My PhD also, it was an uncertain journey, but at least still there was a guide for me overall who was helping me. Here it was, one thing was that, okay, you cannot always be on a guided path. So that was a big unlearning for me in a way, that you have to find solutions and you have to take the uncertain thing. And that is one thing which I've always tried to do with Shumee, is that try new things, because you never know what will work and what will not. I was not such a big risk taker, Subha, so I was not someone who would just do anything. But I think that's one thing which I have unlearned and started doing it much more while I've been a Shumee, that let's keep trying. You never know what will work or what will not work. We will only learn from it. So that has been something. And we have done many things wrong. We have not everything that we did got the results that we thought it should, but we have enjoyed the process. We have enjoyed doing everything at Shumee. So at least I have, I think. Yeah.
No, and I'm sure, I've been in your team, so I know we have, and I'm sure all the children playing with all the Shumee toys definitely are enjoying themselves. And even your stakeholders, the kind of folks that you are now interacting with on a day-to-day basis, right? Manufacturers, artisans across India, smaller businesses who you may partner with for different reasons. What's the challenge there that you find, or what do you wish this was a little different or a little more organized maybe?
So I think especially for us being a brand which manufactures and does, so there's a lot of things which are out of our control in a way, or we don't understand the processes completely. So that sometimes is little unnerving, because we plan for something and suddenly we see that there are different things which we did not even know exist. So those things are there. Even I think one thing that I felt through this journey was, maybe though India is a very booming startup ecosystem, things are, there's so many startups coming up in everything, but we don't have processes or guidelines very streamlined for startups in the early stages, right? There's no guidance available readily. You have to go and scout for it, or you have to hit that process, or you have to hit that, and then you try to learn. So I really wish that there was something where these are the few things you need to take care of. These are the few compliances. These are different things that you need to put together, or these are the agencies, or whatever. There's an ecosystem out there to help you on that. So I feel that a lot of time and effort, especially in the very early stage, right? When you're just a 1 person or 2 or 5 person team, right? So you can't have everyone with high expertise on board, or everyone who has done it all the time. So that way, I think it does get, because for no reason you hit a roadblock which sets you back, kind of thing also happens a lot. Which should not have been a roadblock for you if you would have known it earlier. So those kind of challenges are there. In the last 2 years, with COVID, definitely, there have been challenges for each one of us in different aspects of life. But as a business also, though we have grown and thrived in COVID, very grateful for that. But I think there were things again, the raw material prices, all these are also things which were unexpected things which we have not planned for, and we cannot help it also, but we have to go with the flow on that. So those kind of things, when they hit you, and especially when you are not, funding is always a constraint to operate in certain constraints. So those are the stresses which come up in this thing. But yeah.
I think you brought up COVID, even a simple thing are you allowed to deliver or not? Toys most likely won't be an essential item, but where are they drawing the line, and can you continue to take orders? A very, very dynamic kind of environment.
Yeah, because when COVID happened, the first lockdown, I know it was uncertain for everyone. Nobody knew what hit us at that point and with that lockdown. So for me also, the worry was that how can I support my manufacturing partners, because we are a small, my manufacturing partners are also small artisans, and that's so. And for us also, we needed our supply chain to work, but we all worked together, even where my artisans also supported us a lot in this, but we also tried to support in whatever way, because we knew that this has to work we have to keep going. So those were the things that, realize that when you have something where you're responsible for more than yourself.
No, it was interesting what you said, that there is also a commitment in some way to artisans and manufacturers that you've tied up with, that there is a certain amount of business, and probably the expectation is higher when during a difficult time like the pandemic. Have there been any really strong groups or mentors? Because I hear what you're saying. It's even in women entrepreneur groups that I'm part of, very often you find that the same questions are asked again and again. Anybody starting out faces similar struggles. And I realized that over the few years that I've been in such groups, our answers also have not changed too much. There's no structured solution that we're really giving anybody that, hey, go to this place, you'll find answers, do this, do that. Even something as simple as registering for GST. Each new entrepreneur seems to struggle with something or the other.
Yeah, that's one big step because you don't know where to look for these answers. I mean, you will eventually find out it doesn't warrant so much effort at certain things which are very common to every startup who would be getting into a startup, like compliances for like even like GST, say ho gaya, anything, like there are things that you have to find out. But I think one thing in the last couple of years that the ecosystem has been growing. So there are places you can quickly reach out to or find out, but it's not something that you know ki haan yahan jaake mujhe I'll get everything. Matlab you will not. You will have to talk to multiple people, gather that information. I'm saying this, maybe there should be do something. At least your learnings, like remember Shubha, like when we were applying, I mean when we were in engineering going for US masters and everything, our seniors had a playbook put together, but there is no playbook as such for a startup. And maybe also because every startup has a different challenge in different spheres, right? But certain things are still common.
Many of us, when we start, I see that when we are running our own business or even in a corporate role, we do tend to kind of play to our strengths and really, like you said, it's a more efficient use of time, right? Doing what you're already good at. But entrepreneurship puts you into the deep sea in a lot of things which are unfamiliar or new. And I continuously hear entrepreneurs say that I do the sales, but I'm not a numbers person. I leave that to my co-founder or my partner or somebody. So how did you handle that? Did you find, or in general, do you find yourself enjoying that new challenge, or do you like to outsource it and say, hey, let me stick to what I like to do or I'm good at?
I've done each one of this, but as we have grown, I've started, outsource. I am delegating it and having others look at it. But in the initial, you need to get your hands dirty in every aspect. Like you need to look at sales, you need to look at marketing. In the initial times, Facebook ads, those things were something which I also tried to do, understand, because if you have to talk to somebody, then you really need to know what it even means. Those kind of things. But yes, eventually then you start delegating, you start getting people who have more expertise and know how to take it in a better direction than you would have. But you still need to have that Uber level picture that, okay, this means this and what they are giving me also stands for this. So that at least you can ask help in the next level problem solving, that whatever needs to be done. Because, but what I enjoy most is like planning the product line, thinking on the creative aspects. So I like that part. I even enjoy operations. Marketing, I'm not a very great marketing person, to be honest. So, but I have a great marketing team, so they are doing a good job.
But you're right. I think you need to know enough to even give them a bit of direction and feel comfortable that now I can let them take it forward because I kind of know what's happening, right?
And one thing also, I realized that being a small team, each one of us gives ideas, then it necessarily doesn't need to be the idea that you have in your own sphere of work, right? So, we have had discussions where we have had the whole team even discuss branding, like this is what the brand is standing to. So, or marketing ideas, like, Shubha, you would also have seen that when we had campaigns, we were brainstorming it. Yeah, we were all having some viewpoint and we wanted to do it. And I think that level of involvement from everyone also helps. Like even in operations, when we have any operational difficulty, we have the product team also telling, okay, maybe this can be done differently, that it helps the operations, whatever operational issue that we need to solve for. So I think that's how we try to do it, because we are a very small team like this. And I think each one, at any points, we have all hands on board if required.
But interestingly, Meeta, I have repeatedly been telling Hasita that one of the things when I do speak to Meeta, I want to bring up is that she is such an amazing people manager. And I used to wonder, I don't think it's a label that you'd probably give yourself. But for many of us who have been associated with Shumee in some way or the other, I used to be really, really amazed at how well you were able to give us our space, thinking through ideas, even executing them, etc. And even with that space, make us feel like we just own this brand. And even today, I feel if I see something Shumee, it's not that it's another company or a brand, or it's like, hey, are we doing something okay? That we thought comes into my mind rather than it being something external to me. So where do you think that comes from? Because you do it in such a pleasant way, you do it in subtle way, I would say. There is no pressure on your team that I see overtly. There is a lot of freedom to say what you want to say or experiment with things and to bring in new ideas. And some will work and some will not. But there is somehow with all that a great sense of ownership that is built in the team. Do you feel that as something that you very intentionally do, or is it kind of a result of a lot of things that you do?
I'm really happy to hear that you felt that, Shubha. Thank you. I think, Shubha, one thing which I've always felt and believed is that each one of us is whoever is a Shumee is an integral part of the journey. I mean, I cannot do anything alone. I mean, it's always a teamwork. We all have to come together. And for me, I feel that everyone that I have, I'm really grateful for whoever has been a part of this journey from day one, because I myself have learned a lot. I think I'm always in this learning mode that I am learning from everyone. I do feel and everyone has their own strengths, and I would like to play to everyone's strengths. I feel that I might have something in my mind which might not be right, but if somebody else feels any other way, I would really love to hear that. And similarly, the other way around. And that is the only way I think we can keep going. And I think that's how we keep trying things also. It's not an intentional thing, but I think it's something which I actually and naturally feel that it's all of us together that will make this something. Yeah.
No, I think that's how it comes out. There's the authenticity in how you believe that this is how it should be. I think naturally brings the team together. You mentioned that you love the creative side, and I think as a business owner now, there's a huge operational side to the business, obviously. There is a huge creative designing these toys, designing new products. And there is also a facet of kind of being up to date in knowing child psychology, child development, what kind of toys are good for children. What do you enjoy the most? And kind of a part B to that, how do you sift through so much of information that may be out there in terms of just what makes a good toy?
Some of this comes instinctively. Sometimes you get that feeling that, yes, this makes sense and this is what you want to do. And I try to listen to that a little bit more than believing that maybe it's also been a natural style of mine, Shubha. Like I have always just dived first, then swam through the waters and figured it out kind of thing and not the other way around, that have the complete knowledge and then take the next step. I think that has served me well, that figure out things, and because really knowing the solution sometimes is not that you'll just wait on it forever. I mean, both approaches work actually.
I think you've crushed all kind of impressions of Harvard PhD and an IBM researcher. Awesome.
Yeah, no, but I think that's what works for me. Like it works for me to go in and just start solving it. I think I'm by nature a restless person, maybe because of that. If it's something comes into my mind, I need to do it. I don't know how it will come out, but I just go ahead with it. But I think there are many things which happen for us through the day, and things are very dynamic also sometimes. Some part needs more information or attention than the other, which is a part of any startup or any there. But I've kind of now, I mean, like I said, I give a lot of credit to my team here. Each one of them has a lot of ownership in what they do and they kind of handle it. So there are things, and now I have to just step in when I am needed to solve or escalate to any other point of external contacts that we need to do. So that is where I do, but that's how we have been now doing it. Yeah.
So when you guys are designing new toys or thinking about a new product, right? What is innovation? Because finally, like let's say wooden toys or toys in this range, there is, at least we feel that beyond a point, what more would you be able to do? And yet I see new and new ideas, right? Like something like your balance boards and the Waldorf boards and the Pickler triangles, they're all, like you said, intuitively, it should be a child's toy and it should be built well and made well. But in your mind, what is like the next big thing that you'd like to do, or what does innovation look like?
So I think what we have achieved so far is that we have established a strong early years portfolio where we are known for the toys and the play solutions that we have like in the early years 0 to 4. For us, I think now we also want to address and take this further to 4 plus and beyond, where we keep the play-based philosophy, because we believe play is a very strong fundamental tool that a child has for learning a lot of things, and even for adults. So we want to see if we can keep expanding the sphere of play for the little ones and also beyond little ones as we do. So that's one challenge that we want to take up as we move on forward. But I think still even in the 0 to 4, there are things that which excites us sometimes, and we think, oh, this is something we should also be looking at, or this is a great idea to explore. And then we start doing that.
I think while you were saying that you'll go to slightly older kids, I wanted to say that if you can figure out how to keep preteens and teens off gadgets, right, the funding will just pour in. I guarantee it.
No, I'm saying gadgets are all over the place, I think.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the charm of your range and what your approach, right? Like the whole concept of 90% play, and it's all there. Just let the child explore, let the child have fun, let the child enjoy, and don't keep giving them rules and telling them this is how to play and this is how to do something. This is how you should have fun.
I think we as adults also would not like to hear that for anything. Right?
Exactly. But we preach it so easily as parents. Now, speaking of youngsters, I think you have a very young and dynamic team, which is important in terms of the kind of work that you're doing, keeping a pulse of young moms and what's really happening out there in terms of marketing trends, etc. How has it been kind of putting this team together and growing it and investing time in their growth and development? I'm sure it's not an easy thing to do.
So it's very energizing also to see the young folks and how they think. I feel myself another generation there. So I think from their conversations to understand what is exciting them and what I try to also do is to give them again the freedom to explore, because I think that exploration for them also is very important. Because while they need some direction also, they need to be aligned with what we are having. But I think once you give freedom to somebody, then the alignment starts happening on their own. So that is very important, and that is what we have been trying to do. In the team itself, you have engaged with the team like Ori, me, and we have Priya now. So we all try to keep this kind of a flow with the young members of the team that we have. We let them think. What do they want to do in this aspect? Like even if we have to come up with a product line, so then this is the broader thing, but what would they want to put out there as a product? So that kind of a freedom, or even in marketing, so in the visuals, because I think they are full of ideas. So there are things they look at and they have a pulse on what is going on. So to some extent on the marketing or the social media, or understanding that part of it. So it helps to give them that autonomy to think through it.
I think even your audience, right, young moms, it slowly becomes newer and newer generations. So what held true for us, we're the oldies now. So what childhood was to us is very different from what childhood was to the moms today. So you have to keep that in mind as an audience. But a lot of small and medium business owners do face a people challenge, right? A real and true people challenge in terms of hiring the right folks, being able to groom them to really buy the vision that you have as an entrepreneur, as a founder, and then be able to take it forward and kind of invest your time and energy as an employee and grow with that brand, right? Any tips to some of those out there who I repeatedly ask me that I'm not able to make them stick around, or am I micromanaging too much, or am I sometimes then if I let loose, then I'm not giving them enough direction? Like what is that sweet spot, and how do I retain them and get them to really invest in my brand and my business? I know that autonomy and this freedom has really worked for you. And anything else as kind of tips to other business owners?
to be honest, here also, Shubha, we have also faced, we have had folks who have joined us, left us for different reasons at point. But I think at that point, you have to be ready because everyone is on their own journey at some point, right? I mean, you can only do what you can do by giving them an environment in which they thrive. But there are different reasons which this also happens. But for us, one thing that we have tried to do while even hiring is to look at the attitude. I mean, more than skill, I think it's the attitude that matters. You might not have the 100% skill that you need for that position, but if you have the right attitude that, okay, this excites me or this is something I'm willing to learn and put the effort. And I think that kind of hiring has helped us. That also brings out the excitement for them because they are also learning few things. They are coming and it's something exciting for them over there. But you need to have that attitude. I think over these years, I have learned that is the most important. Skill is also important, but the most important is judging by the attitude of the person who is coming into your organization, that you will know that. And at any point, if they need to move on, then I think that is something which one has to also embrace and take it in that. But yeah, it's unlike maybe what we were also in the young time, right? We knew that, okay, we are with this organization, we will look for it for a little longer haul. I think for the younger generation now, there's a lot of options going around. And I think it is, something. But as long as when they are with you and if they have the right passion that they're working with you, I think that's how, at least at that point, you can enjoy that relationship.
I think graciously letting go is also important because they will find newer ideas to chase and it's their journey too, right? When they're with you, if they have that attitude which suits the kind of work that you want to do, then work with that and grow with that. So I caught you saying restless once. Is there another idea brewing? Is there like one more business that you'd like to kind of start? Or where do you see Shumee in a few more years? What would be that ideal outcome for Shumee in a few years?
I mean, when I say restless, because there's so many ideas that comes to one's mind that like yesterday itself, like with Priya, I was discussing that, okay, these are the different things that we can possibly do. And that makes you restless also because you want to do everything. Like you want to just go out and try all the different possibilities that you are seeing at any point. But again, you have to pick one and go after it. Like there might be, and then you can't just be everywhere and do that. So we are at a point where we are seeing a lot of possibilities that we can possibly take as a next point of time. And I am hoping that we are able to understand which one excites us more and we can go towards that. My vision with Shumee is to be the brand which comes to your mind when you think of play in India in the early years, especially because we want to be synonymous with play, with everything good for your child. And not only in India, also, I would like it to be a brand out of India for the world. So that things, but let's see how this goes. But yeah, that's
I think you've made significant progress there, right? I mean, Shumee today is available across the globe in that sense. But I think that's a lovely vision to chase, that to be just so synonymous with play that young families and young mothers think of Shumee immediately when you're thinking of what to bring home for your child. And finally, you're in the toy business. So what is fun for you? What do you guys do for fun? And even the creative journey of maybe designing and testing a toy itself must be a lot of fun. So what brings fun to the Shumee team and to you?
So I think itself is, we have a lot of fun playing with our own toys. And so at work, any new product itself, I think, which we are we all try it out. We have a lot of suggestions and alterations that we have for each other. And I think this everything, because we find, I don't know, maybe I'm a biggest fan of my own products. But
that's the best.
Yeah. But I like everything that we do, Shubha. So I even like each and every post we put out on social media. So like any packaging changes that we do, anything that excites each one of us. And I'm really grateful to see that in my team also. Like we feel happy about what we are doing. Whatever the results in terms of anyone else cares about, it's the other thing is not in our control, but we kind of enjoy seeing what we bring, what comes out of Shumee. I think that really excites us. So I just think we have a board game coming out soon. It's a space-based theme, and I think we have tested it so many times, even remotely and in office, and every time it's very exciting. Each one of us enjoys it and has so many inputs to give. So all these small things are fun elements that we do. But as a team also, we try to do different fun things together. Being a small team, and till now because of COVID, we are even smaller. But we try to at least engage in one team building activity every few weeks where we try to do something together, because I think that's the only way you can bond also beyond work, and being a small team, that's very important.
So true. And I know that your biggest fans from the early days have been your two boys, and they've been fans, guinea pig, ad models, everything rolled into the two of them. So how are they enjoying this journey? Or is it now like, okay, this is mama's business and it's not something that they jump into as much as they used to?
And they enjoyed, but yeah, I mean, in the early days, it was a different experience altogether for them, because they were part of everything we did, and anything new that we do, they try to understand what is happening, and if they're very blunt with if they like it or they don't like it. So for example, again, coming back to this board game, I mean, they were so blunt with their feedback. I mean, I felt scared telling it to my team at that point. But okay, the first level of feedback, but I think that did help change few things. But they're like, okay, this won't work. And now they also understand different aspects. So my younger one is hoping to be here with us as a marketing intern soon, because he thinks he has great ideas that he wants to give us. So I think they still feel a part of it, but in a different way. I think they are also evolving in their own thought process. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love the way kids also grow with our business, and they start to understand the different aspects of there's marketing, there's finance, and there's running the day-to-day. And it's, I think, an amazing exposure when somebody in the family is running a business like this. For the kids, it's an amazing exposure.
True. They get to see it firsthand. They get to understand what are the challenges also, because everything isn't rosy as it looks on the external side. They see the real struggles also. Yeah.
I think it makes all of us that much more empathetic to other businesses that we interact with or services that we get, right? That yes, things can go wrong sometimes, or everybody's probably trying their best behind the scenes, and we'll give it one more shot.
I think you're very right. Even for me, I think after doing this, I've become so empathetic towards brands also, Shubha, to understand, yes, they are trying to put their best foot forward. They may falter at different points, but nobody is there to just do something really bad, right? I mean, there are...
Correct. So all the best to Shumee. I really miss our days of brainstorming on limited resources and trying to figure out what can we put out there, and then reminding ourselves that probably the moms today are a little younger than we are, and we need to step into their shoes and figure out what's new and exciting. But I think the Shumee journey, while working with you and now watching from the sidelines, continues to be an exciting one. So I wish each of you all the very best, and we'll keep a lookout for new and innovative stuff from the Shumee stable.
Thank you, Shubha. I really enjoyed having you when working with us over here. So it was, and I do miss it too, but I'm hoping sometime again our paths will cross and you will be back with us. But thank you for all the good wishes, and it's always good to know there's a friend looking out for you.
Definitely, always. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening till the very end. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you'd like to leave us a note about the episode, please do write in at connect@raincraft.in or drop us a voice message at speakpipe.com/raincraft. All the details about our guest today and how you can find us on social media are available in the show notes. So please do have a read, and catch you next time.